primarily discuss about why does one should look for government job opportunities, what are the various opportunities that has been provided by the government available to the lawyers, and last but not the least, we'll discuss about their eligibilities and the vacancies respectively. So, followed by whosoever will be having any Q&A, we'll take that in the end of the session. So today, as a speaker, we have with us Jyoti Singh. She is an associate and post anchor for SEBI Chess Prep at LawSikho. So I welcome you, Jyoti, and we have a lot to learn from this session. So let's get started.
Okay. Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you, Anu, for the introduction again. So first of all, I would like to thank you guys for being a part of today's session. I'm quite sure that the title of this webinar itself was exciting enough to bring you guys here. So, and I intend to make it a really fruitful session for you all. Now, before we begin, I would like to give you an insight of, the scheme that we are going to follow in today's session. So the first thing, I'm going to keep our discussion today bilingual for the sake of everyone who is attending this webinar today. Secondly, with regard to the scheme that is to be followed here, we are going to be discussing the various exams that are, available, that would actually be the different opportunities which are available for lawyers in the public domain. And one thing that you must remember, this is not an exhaustive list. We have tried to cover most of the opportunities available, but you can definitely not consider this to be an exhaustive list of the opportunities that are there. Okay. Secondly, we are only going to be discussing the eligibility criteria. Why? Because that would help you in understanding whether you are eligible to even think of preparing for that exam or not. And secondly, we are only going to be discussing the syllabus with regard to the legal aspect. Because as we go further in this session, आपको ये चीज realize होगी कि कई exams में वो आपकी बाकी abilities भी test करते हैं. So for instance, if I am to take up SEBI exam in particular, वहाँ पे in the first paper they test your reasoning abilities, your awareness with regard to the general current events that are going on, your quantitative aptitude skills, so on and so forth. But those are topics which have been and which will be taken up in future webinars. आज का topic बस हमारा ये है कि I give you an idea about the various opportunities which can be available to you if you are preparing for judiciary and you are looking for different opportunities that you can prepare for with your judiciary exam together with it, right? So I'll just ask Anu for screen sharing and then we can just begin. Anu, can I share my screen? Yeah, okay. All right, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, so just a second. Yes, so the very first thing before we should even begin with our discussion today is why government jobs, right? So ye cheez, like, I think I would be right in presuming that we have been inculcated with this thing ever since the beginning. मुझे भी मेरे parents ने यही चीज कही थी कि बेटा जाना है तो go for a government job. Private sector में कुछ नहीं रखा है. Like, this is something that I have also grown up hearing. कि गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर में जाओ, प्रिपेयर फॉर जुडिशरी, प्रिपेयर फॉर अदर कंपेटिटिव एग्जाम्स, क्योंकि प्राइवेट सेक्टर में जॉब सिक्योरिटी नहीं है, प्राइवेट सेक्टर में वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस नहीं है, राइट? एंड बाकी भी बहुत सारे रीजन. सो एंड आई थिंक दैट दिस इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द रीजंस दैट हैज एंटिस्ड यू ऑल टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ टुडेज सेशन कि गवर्नमेंट जॉब में क्यों जाना है. So I think that fits that we discuss the reason as to why should one go for government jobs before we even begin with the different opportunities that are available. So the very first one, like I said, like just a few seconds back, job security. तो ये चीज हमने अभी current pandemic के time पर भी देखा है कि a lot of people in the private sector have lost their jobs, right? So they were literally you can say cast out of their jobs without any job security. They literally have nothing to fall back upon. उन्हें कोई notice period नहीं मिला, कुछ नहीं मिला, and now they just have to sustain themselves and their family with the minimal savings that they might have. ठीक है? So, but this is where you can see a stark difference with regard to the government sector कि कुछ भी हो जाए, चाहे situation कितनी ही खराब हो, आपको आपके job से नहीं निकाला जा सकता, right? Obviously there are some cons, or you can say कि कुछ reasons obviously होंगे जिसके वजह से निकाला जाए, provided like you indulge in unlawful activities, but that's a separate thing. If like you are a diligent employee, if you work well, you don't have to wake up every day thinking ki you can be, like thrown out of your job. So job security is one of the major reasons why people are always, fascinated with the government sector, why they want to be a part of the government sector. Okay. And because of this, all, like you can see, all the reasons that I have mentioned here are actually interlinked. Job security major reason hai. Job security ke saath aapko optimal leave opportunities milti hai. Now what do you mean by this? When you talk about the government सेक्टर, वहां पर लाइक उनके लीव, जितनी भी उन्हें लीव देनी होती है ना, दे आर स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड कि आपको इन इवेंट्स पे लीव पक्का मिलेगी ना. दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच इज नॉट देयर इन द प्राइवेट सेक्टर. नो मैटर हाउ ऑर्गेनाइज्ड द प्राइवेट एंटिटी माइट बी, आपकी जितनी लीव अपॉर्चुनिटीज आपको एक गवर्नमेंट जॉब दे सकती है, उतनी शायद ही कोई प्राइवेट जॉब आपको दे पाए, राइट? सो दिस इज एसेंशियली, लाइक दिस इज स्पेशली इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर दोज पीपल हु हैव ऑलवेज वांटेड अ प्रॉपर वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस, अ हेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल, कि हाँ इतने दिन मैंने काम किया एंड इसके बाद I want time for myself and my family. So optimal leave opportunities, another major reason as to why people want government jobs. Third, tax benefits. Now, अगर आपने इनकम टैक्स एक्ट पढ़ा है और if you have been filing your ITR, you would know that when we talk about the retirement benefits in particular, for instance, gratuity हो गया, ठीक है, then you have pension, even leave encashment if you want it after your retirement. So in सब cases में ना, the bifurcation is like government employees and non-government employees. So all these, most of these retirement benefits which are available to government employees are actually exempt. So अगर आपको say for example आपको retirement के बाद 10 लाख मिलना है, तो आपको वो 10 लाख ही मिलेगा, उसमें से एक पैसा भी डिडक्ट नहीं होगा एज टैक्स. बट इफ यू आर इन द प्राइवेट सेक्टर, वहां पर सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत ये होती है कि इफ यू आर टू गेट 10 lakhs आफ्टर योर रिटायरमेंट, उसमें से यू हैव टू, अ सर्टेन अमाउंट इज गोइंग टू बी डिडक्टेड. व्हाई? बिकॉज आपको वो टैक्स पे करना ही पड़ेगा. सो दिस इज ऑल्सो अनदर मेजर रीजन व्हाई यू कैन, तो भले यू कैन से दैट आपके गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर में मे बी द पे इज नॉट एज हाई एज इट इज इन द प्राइवेट सेक्टर, बट आपकी सेविंग्स बहुत ज्यादा हो जाती है. बिकॉज प्राइवेट सेक्टर में आप जितना ही कमा लो, the bar at which you are taxed is really high when you compare it with the government sector, right? So tax benefits, again a major reason. Standardized increments. Now this is like, you have a fixed pay scale कि आपकी amount अगर यहाँ से start हुई है तो 1 साल या 2 साल बाद वो इस level पे बढ़ेगी. Your growth rate is actually determined, it's predetermined. So you know that आप इतने साल के बाद आपको promotion मिलेगी. You are going to be a step higher in the organization. But this is again something which is not that certain so far as private sectors are concerned. So this will also be a major reason towards pushing people in being a part of the government sector altogether. And the last one, which I've also highlighted here, work-life balance. Especially for like you can say that the younger generation is more inclined towards working hard in the starting years. कि starting में तो हमें बहुत मेहनत करनी है, and उसके बाद धीरे धीरे as we mature, as we grow older, हमारा work like वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस बाद में आ जाएगा. अभी के लिए उतनी मेहनत करनी है कि वी कैन एक्चुअली सिक्योर अ बेटर फ्यूचर फॉर आवरसेल्व्स एंड आवर फैमिली. बट गाइज, देयर इज स्टिल अ लिमिट टू विच यू कैन पुश योरसेल्फ, राइट? आप एक लिमिट के बाद अपने आप को पुश नहीं कर सकते हो. सो दिस इज व्हाई वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस इज अगेन समथिंग दैट यू कैन गेट इन गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स. अगर आपकी वो जॉब 9 to 5 है या 10 to 6 है, तो उसके बाद यू कैन बी अश्योर्ड दैट यू डोंट हैव टू डू एनीथिंग विद रिगार्ड टू इट. ऑब्वियसली सर्टेन एक्सेप्शंस एग्जिस्ट, बट यू कैन बी अश्योर्ड कि आपको गवर्नमेंट जॉब में वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस भी मिलेगा. यू विल गेट एम्पल टाइम टू एंजॉय विद योर फैमिली, यू विल हैव एम्पल लीव अपॉर्चुनिटीज, जॉब सिक्योरिटी तो रहेगी, एंड टैक्स बेनिफिट्स, अगेन अ मेजर रीजन व्हाई पीपल वुड इवन वांट टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट sector. So these are some of the major reasons towards pushing people in being a part of the government sector altogether. Now, with this being said, with the pleasantries out of the way and the reasons as to why one should even go for the government sector, I think it's time that we shift towards the different opportunities which are available in the government sector besides judiciary. Okay. So the first one, like I keep saying time and again, is the SEBI Grade A legal officers exam. And you would understand why I kept this first and बाकियों को मैंने इसके बाद क्यों रखा है. ठीक है? That would be clear once I discuss the eligibility over here. So इसकी eligibility क्या है? You only need a bachelor's degree from a recognized university or institute. Now, why am I focusing on just this bachelor's degree? Because if you are to appear for this exam, it is not mandatory for you to be enrolled as an advocate. ठीक है? As we move further in the course of this webinar, you would realize कि कई ऐसी government opportunities हैं where it is mandatory for you to be enrolled as an advocate. But SEBI is one of those opportunities which will not require you to be enrolled as an advocate. You can just be a simple, you could have just graduated और आपने final exams दे दिए हैं, you are awaiting your result and you will still be eligible to sit for this exam. ठीक है? So this is why it is important to know कि आपको कहाँ पर एडवोकेट का एनरोलमेंट जरूरी है एंड कहां पर नहीं है. सो सेबी इज वन ऑफ दोज वेयर यू डू नॉट रिक्वायर where it is not, where it does not require you to be enrolled as an advocate, and you can simply sit for this exam even if you just have a bachelor's degree. Now the syllabus, like I had stated before, we are only going to be discussing the legal syllabus over here. We have conducted individual webinars on the pattern, syllabus and every other thing of this exam per se. So here we are only going to be seeing ki इसका लीगल सिलेबस क्या है एंड हाउ कैन दिस ओवरलैप विथ योर जुडिशियल प्रिपरेशंस. तो सिलेबस में कंपनी लॉ, सिक्योरिटीज लॉ, ये तो है ही आपके कॉर्पोरेट लॉज पोर्शन में, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल लॉ, contract law which includes SRA and partnership, sale of goods is not a part of it, arbitration act, taxation, LLP which is limited liability partnership, transfer of property act, law of torts, law of trusts, jurisprudence and IOS, that is interpretation of statutes, Latin terms and maxims, and civil and criminal law. Now this is just a broad, like you can say a broader dimension of the syllabus. In सबके parts are very well defined in this exam. But here, if you are to compare this with your judicial preparation, अगर आप judiciary के लिए prepare कर रहे हो, constitutional law, contract law are literally the most important subjects in almost every judiciary that's there, right? तो ये सारे जो syllabus हैं आपके, constitutional law हो गया, contract हो गया, arbitration is heavily tested in Delhi judiciary, taxation चलो नहीं पूछा जाता है, but this is something peculiar to this exam. The LLP, same, like you can also say the same for LLP, but transfer of property, torts, trust, ये सारे वो subjects हैं जो कि almost हर judiciary exam में पूछे जाते हैं. So if you are actually aspiring to, if you are actually a judicial aspirant and if you are looking for opportunities in the government sector wherein the syllabus is quite overlapping, SEBI is one of those brilliant opportunities that you can actually tap onto. Now one major thing, इस साल की जो इनकी लास्ट डेट थी वो जा चुकी है. The exam is there on the 17th of January this year, like 17th of January 21. Okay, so this was all that I had to discuss with regard to the SEBI Grade A exam. The next one, I know you would be surprised to see this, but I have discussed the reason why enrolling as an advocate is important. So the All India Bar exams, मैं ये reasons भी discuss करूंगी कि ये important क्यों है. First, let's see the eligibility. Again, we have conducted individual webinars on this, so I'm just going to skim through the overview here. Just going to give you an overview here. First one, obviously, you must be, and the first one here would be that you have passed your 3rd or 5th year bachelor's degree from any recognized university. And secondly, before you are even, before you can even sit for the All India Bar exams, it is imperative कि आप जिस state में हो, आप वहां पे उस स्टेट के बार काउंसिल के साथ एनरोल्ड हो. सो until and unless you are enrolled as an advocate with your state bar council, you will not be allowed to sit for the All India Bar exams. ठीक है? Syllabus, before I discuss this, again, I'll just take a few seconds to say why. पहला रीजन मैंने आपको ऑलरेडी बता दिया कि कई एग्जाम्स में जहां पर पोस्ट क्वालिफिकेशन एक्सपीरियंस मांगते हैं वहां दे मेक इट मैंडेटरी फॉर दैट पर्सन टू बी एनरोल्ड एज एन एडवोकेट. ठीक है, तो जो पोस्ट क्वालिफिकेशन एक्सपीरियंस आपकी काउंट होती है, चाहे आप एक्चुअली प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हो या नहीं कर रहे हो, दैट डज नॉट मैटर. बट जिस से फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपने 21 में एनरोल किया है, ठीक है, यू हैव बीन एनरोल्ड एज एन एडवोकेट विद द बार काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया, तो उसके बाद आप चाहे प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हो या नहीं कर रहे हो, दैट्स नॉट इवन अ पॉइंट ऑफ डिबेट. व्हाट मैटर्स इज कि आपका जो PQE है, जो आपका पोस्ट क्वालिफिकेशन एक्सपीरियंस है, वो 21 से ही काउंट होना स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज नीडेड इन मोस्ट ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज व्हिच आर देयर फॉर अस लॉयर्स. ठीक है, so this, and another major reason, if you are enrolled as an advocate and say that unfortunately you are unable to clear your exams, so you'll always have something to fall back upon, right? आप दूसरे exams के लिए prepare कर सकते हो या फिर you can start your own practice, है ना? So you Bar India exam is something जो you should appear for immediately after you graduate, because this is like your safety net कि कुछ हो चाहे ना हो, आपके पास advocate का license तो है, you can at least practice even if you cannot clear any exam. ठीक है, so from this point in view, All India Bar exams becomes a very important opportunity that you must know. सिलेबस इसका वही है, वेरी यू कैन से लाइक सब्जेक्ट्स भले इतने ज्यादा लग रहे हैं, बट इफ यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर जुडिशरी ये सारे ही आपके लिए एकदम यू नो दीज आर देयर ऑन द टिप ऑफ योर फिंगर्स, क्योंकि इस एग्जाम में फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट्स एन ओपन बुक एग्जाम एंड सेकेंडली इट जस्ट यू नो टेस्ट्स योर यू कैन से आपकी यू नो रिटेंशन कैपेबिलिटीज जो एकदम बेसिक लेवल पे है। तो अगर आप इन डेप्थ जुडिशरी के लिए पढ़ ही रहे हो तो दीज सब्जेक्ट्स वुड बी अ केक फॉर यू, राइट? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल लॉ हो गया, फैमिली लॉ हो गया, administrative law, environmental law, cyber law, taxation. Now this is overlapping with your SEBI preparation, right? IPC, ADR, ठीक है? Then PIL, that is public interest litigation, land acquisition. Now this is peculiar to this exam. Labor and industrial laws हो गए, IP law हो गया, contract, specific relief, property, NI, torts, मोटर व्हीकल्स एक्ट, कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन लॉ आपका जो है, एंड प्रोफेशनल एथिक्स एंड केसेस ऑफ प्रोफेशनल मिसकंडक्ट अंडर बीसीआई रूल्स। दिस इज नॉट अ वेरी टफ एग्जाम एज वी ऑल नो, ये बस दिस इज जस्ट यू नो क्वालिफाइंग इन नेचर एंड यू नीड दिस इफ यू वांट टू बी एनरोल्ड एज एन advocate with the Bar Council of India, right? Let's move on to the next important one here. Okay, the RBI Grade B Legal Officers Exam. Now, is pe bhi, I remember I had only conducted a webinar wherein I had discussed the pattern, eligibility criteria and everything. But what is important to be discussed with respect to this exam here is again the eligibility and the overlapping syllabus with judiciary. एलिजिबिलिटी में यहाँ आप देख लो आपकी एडवोकेट की डिग्री कितनी, एडवोकेट की लाइसेंस कितने काम आएगी। पहले तो यू नीड टू बी यू नो अ ग्रेजुएट फ्रॉम अ कॉलेज दैट इज रिकॉग्नाइज्ड बाय बीसीआई एंड फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ एनरोलमेंट, एंड आपको मिनिमम 50% सिक्योर करना इज इंपॉर्टेंट एग्रीगेट में इन ऑल योर सेमेस्टर्स और ईयर्स, एंड यू नीड एटलीस्ट 2 years PQE एज एन एडवोकेट or as a law officer where in the legal department of either a large bank or a financial institution, statutory corporation, company and or legal associate हो, या फिर आप legal consultant हो in an advocate या solicitor's office, or in the legal department of what, of the central or the state government, or you are you know a teacher, you are working as a teacher in a law college or university. So see, इस exam के लिए you need a PQE of 2 years, and वो PQE count ही तब से कब से होगा, once you have enrolled as an advocate. So here पहला, before you can even think of appearing for this exam, the first important thing here would be to be enrolled as an advocate. So this is why I placed SEBI before the All India Bar exams, क्योंकि वहां पर it is not mandatory for you to be enrolled as an advocate, and I placed RBI after I had discussed the AIBE exams. Okay, so this was with regard to the eligibility here. Syllabus में again this is the legal syllabus here. आपके इसके सिवाय भी बाकी areas टेस्ट किए जाते हैं, but जैसा कि मैंने आपको स्टार्टिंग में भी बताया था कि we are only going to be discussing the legal syllabus in this webinar. General knowledge of law चाहिए, and the paper would be both objective and descriptive here, and the questions here are going to be from the constitutional law, ad law. So ये आप देख रहे हो, this is something which is common to almost every exam that we would be discussing. Constitutional law हो गया, ad law हो गया, principles of statutory interpretation हो गए, evidence law, contract act, transfer of property, negotiable instrument हो गया, registration हो गया, ठीक है, civil procedure code, legal drafting, etc. Now one thing that you need to know while going through the syllabus of this exam would be कि ये जो syllabus आपको यहाँ पर दिया हुआ है, इनकी notification में दिया हुआ है, that is only indicative. Okay, so you cannot say that all the questions are going to be from this area, because ये चीज मैंने उस webinar में भी discuss की थी कि if you become an RBI officer, you need to be aware of the banking laws as well. You need to be aware of the FEMA regulations as well, because RBI is the one who frames them, right? So from that point of view, just knowing these would not suffice, and you should know that these are only, you know, a part of the indicative syllabus that is there or that can be asked in this exam of yours. Okay, so this was all that I had to discuss with regard to RBI Grade B exam. Let's move on to CLAT PG. Now, CLAT PG, that is CLAT LLM, can be important due to 2 reasons. One, कि आपके CLAT LLM के scores are also, you can say, the determining criteria to be a part of many PSUs. ठीक है, so कई public sector undertakings में आपके CLAT PG में जो मार्क्स आए होते हैं उस और उसमें जो रैंक आया होता है उसके बेसिस में यू गेट एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ अ PSU. ठीक है, सो कई जैसे ONGC हो गया, भेल हो गया, गेल हो गया, इन सब में द सिलेक्शन क्राइटेरिया इज दैट यू नीड you need to have a decent rank in CLAT LLM. So one is this, from this point, appearing for masters becomes, for this exam becomes important. And second reason is, if someone is interested in academics, right? If you want to become an academician and you want to, appear for UGC in future, so us point se bhi aapki ye master's degree would become important. Okay? So this is why I included this in this webinar, so that you know कि अगर आपको future में masters के लिए जाना है, या you want to be a part of a PSU, तो this exam is important for you to take. इसकी eligibility वही है, you need to be a graduate and you need to have 50% marks general case में, OBC and in सब में, and 45% is needed for people who belong to SC or ST categories. Syllabus again majorly same hai. You have constitutional law, jurisprudence, ad law, contract, torts, family law. Criminal law mein again IPC, CRPC, evidence. Property law ho gaya, that is transfer of property majorly. Company law, public international law, tax ka law yahan par bhi aa jata hai. Environmental law hai, it's like booming area right now. Labor and industrial law. But isme another peculiarity here is that आपका paper consists of 120 questions, ठीक है? So उन 120 questions में से 60 questions are from constitutional law alone. So you can understand कि ये सारे laws एक तरफ आते हैं और constitutional law अकेला 60% weight like 50% weight hold करता है. So you can understand the importance of constitutional law so far as every single exam in the government sector for lawyers is concerned, right? So it is literally our Bible. So this was all that I had to discuss with regard to CLAT PG. Moving on to UGC NET. So इसके पहले ही हमने डिस्कस किया कि मास्टर्स के बाद ही आप UGC के लिए मतलब जा सकते हो. तो CLAT PG can be like you can say beneficial from two aspects. One, अगर आप PSU में जाना चाहते हो. Secondly, अगर आपको मास्टर्स करके you want to go for PhD या you want to become an academician in future. एलिजिबिलिटी क्या है इसमें? अभी तक हमें बैचलर्स डिग्री में 50% एग्रीगेट चाहिए था. For UGC NET, you need 55% in aggregate in your master's degree or equivalent. For this is like not important for us, but हमारे लिए क्या जरूरी है? 55% aggregate चाहिए in our master's degree altogether. ठीक है? Sorry, and 50% for all these other categories. Syllabus again, if you see the syllabus for this and for CLAT PG were overlapping, and ये सारे ही जो parts हैं, इसमें से major parts जैसे constitution, jurisprudence, ad law, ठीक है? International law तो हालांकि judiciaries में नहीं पूछा जाता है, and DGS does ask a few questions, but elementary होते हैं. But बाकी जितने भी हैं IPC, CRPC, evidence, ठीक है? Consumer protection, torts, arbitration, ये सारे ही areas आपके कई स्टेट जुडिशरीज में पूछे जाते हैं. सो इफ यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर दिस एंड यू हैव a knack for teaching, you want to go into this line in future, then this is also an exam that you can appear for. ठीक है? इसका syllabus.
Jyoti, yes. So here I am. For let's participant. Let's take a 5 minutes break from our webinar, and let me just tell you that we at LawSikho has came up with a judiciary workshop. So it will be an interesting workshop. So as we are already studying about the government job, so judiciary is also a very fancy and what you can say, a very repetitive job. So as many of our participants are aware of this workshop, but those who are new to this session today, let me just quickly tell you. Jyoti, could you please share the screen?
Just a second. One sec. Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible. Okay. So yes, participants, this is our first exclusive course, you can say. So in this particular workshop, we'll be discussing about the basic questions that comes up in the minds of a judiciary aspirant. Like many of our participants are still not graduate from law school, so how you can start your preparation from the law school itself, and what should be the strategy just after the graduation, and how you need to remember the sections, and how you need to approach the barracks, and how the most important thing, that how you need to sustain your preparation. So these are certain questions which we'll be discussing in this particular workshop, but this is just a brief. I'm telling you all. There are certain timelines which you need to remember if whosoever is interested to enroll for this particular workshop. The timelines are that this workshop is on 14th of December. and the timing would be from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And for this workshop, we have kept a very, yes, these are the timelines which you can see on your screen. That 14th December, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we have kept a very minimal amount, that is 200. And that this is registration which you need to do. Like for this workshop, you need to register yourself. And also at the bottom of the page, we have discussed certain agenda for this workshop. Just after this conversation, I'll share a link with you all. So you can go through this page. And of course, you will be investing 200 rupees. So first of all, you will do all this inquiry and all. So do that. And we have amazing faculty who will be teaching you and guiding you in the workshop. That is, they are, Mr. Harsh Jain. He himself has cleared the Rajasthan Judicial Services as well as other law-related examination. Our very own Shweta ma'am, she's a project lead manager for LawSikho, 𝗨𝗏𝗺 Judiciary, and Mr. 𝗷𝗵𝗵𝗹, he is a chief officer at LawSikho. So these will be the faculties. So this was all about the LawSikho workshop, which we are going to conduct on December 14th. So now we'll take किसी की भी अगर queries होंगी इस workshop से related, so they can ask their questions and remember the date. And this was it. So
Okay.
yeah.
One more thing I would like to add here, that would be that मैं यहाँ पर सिर्फ I'm just going through the like I'm just giving you an insight of the various exams that are there in the government sector, right? I'm not it's not possible for me to discuss the strategies for different exams, or how can you actually strategize your preparation with judiciary. So I'm only going to be giving you an idea. If you want more insights, if you want help with regard to the formulation of the right strategy, then attending this workshop would definitely be a bonus. Right? So I think we can move on. We can move ahead.
Yes. Participants, I have just shared the link with you all, as well as the chat WhatsApp group where you can get connected and stay updated regarding the workshop and other things, related to judiciary as well as other government jobs. Thank you, and over to you, Jyoti.
Okay, thank you. So we are done with the discussion of UGC NET exam. The next one in line is, okay, so this is like one of those top-notch exams which we are all aware about कि maximum लोगों को आप अगर सुनोगे तो they either want to go for judiciary या UPSC. But this is also another major, you can say another plan which is as grueling, if not more, when compared to judiciary. But you can obviously think of appearing for this exam as well. हालांकि syllabus में काफी difference है and they have been discussed in detail in the respective webinars. But जो law का portion है वो सारे ही portions आप अपने judiciary preparation में पढ़ते हो. So from that point in view, UPSC also becomes another major lucrative opportunity that you can think of appearing for, है ना? So इसकी eligibility, I'll just read it. I am pretty sure that you are all aware of it. The age limit is 21 से 32 years तक ही आप ले सकते हो. बाकी if we are not to take into account the other relaxation factors, and the minimum criteria that you all require to be eligible for this exam is to hold a bachelor's degree. That can be from any stream. But for us lawyers, our forte is with law. So हमारे लिए it makes sense if we choose law optional as our paper, law as our optional for the 500 marks 250 marks paper जो हमारे दोनों हैं. तो अगर आप उसको देखो तो paper 1 का syllabus is what? It is constitutional law, ad law and international law. Now I know that we do not have international law in detail in any of the judiciaries. Delhi में भी जैसा मैंने कहा, it just brushes through, you can say, the surface. But यहाँ पर it is tested in detail. But बाकी जितने laws आप देख रहे हो ना, ये सारे I'm sure that we have discussed them in our webinar that was there on law optional. But these subjects do overlap with the judiciary preparation as well, है ना? Paper 2 के सारे parts, वो law of crimes हो, torts हो, contract and mercantile law में basically NI आ गया, partnership आ गया, ठीक है? Sale of goods आ गए, वो सारे ही आ जाएंगे. Arbitration and conciliation, again a major area to prepare for. अगर आप, and this is one of those subjects जो अगर आप DGS के लिए prepare कर रहे हो तो उसमें these are heavily tested, है ना? So if you are aspiring to become, to appear for DGS exams, then going for UPSC can seem to be a rational decision because इनके syllabus में, especially the law portion, में काफी matches. मतलब you can say there are quite a lot of similarities so far as DJS and UPSC law optional is concerned. ठीक है? And बाकी contemporary legal developments में, again, it is divided into 8 topics altogether. We are not going to go into that much detail. I'm pretty sure that you are all aware of it. बट ये सारे ही सब्जेक्ट्स यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि अगर आप जुडिशरी के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो तो यू आर ऑलरेडी अवेयर ऑफ द इंपॉर्टेंट एरियाज विच आर which you need to focus on as so far as these subjects are concerned. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Now this is not, you can say, that popular an option, but nevertheless it is a very lucrative option if you want to sit for exams that are literally, you can say, overlapping with judiciary or similar to judiciary altogether. So what is JLO? JLO basically stands for Junior Law Officer. ठीक है, तो ये वाला एग्जाम का सिलेबस भी अगर आप देखोगे, इसकी जो 4 पेपर्स हैं, ये सारे ही सब्जेक्ट्स आपके जुडिशरी एग्जाम में टेस्ट होते हैं, राइट? तो appearing for this exam would seem like a lucrative option for people who wish कि उन्हें judicial side में रहना है, they do not want to go into the other sector. So for them JLO becomes an exciting opportunity to sit for. ठीक है, recently अभी JLO की notification अगर आप देखोगे तो वो राजस्थान की तरफ से ही आई थी, जिसने last 2013 में ये exam conduct कराया था, and उसके बाद the notification was out in 2019, that is 6 years after it. So I won't say that the frequency with which this exam is conducted is high, but you can appear for it whenever the notifications are out, है ना? So इसकी age limitation भी वही, it's like 21 to 40 years. With respect to educational qualification में, all you need is a bachelor's degree from any recognized university. यहाँ का syllabus क्या है? Paper 1 would solely consist of questions from constitutional law. पेपर 2 में आपके प्रोसीजरल लॉज को टेस्ट करेगा, सीपीसी एंड सीआरपीसी. पेपर 3 वुड बी टेस्टिंग द अदर एक्ट, जैसे आपकी एविडेंस हो गए, लिमिटेशन एक्ट हो गया, इंटरप्रिटेशन हो गया, ड्राफ्टिंग एबिलिटीज, ठीक है, ड्राफ्टिंग एंड कन्वेंसिंग की. एंड पेपर 4 वुड बेसिकली बी अ लैंग्वेज पेपर विद बोथ हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश बीइंग टेस्टेड. सो दिस, द रीजन व्हाई आई हैव इंक्लूडेड दिस हियर इज बिकॉज ये जेएलओ का सिलेबस इज आपका राजस्थान के नोटिफिकेशन के अकॉर्डिंग. सो देयर द लैंग्वेज पेपर वुड कंसिस्ट ऑफ हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश, लाइक क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम हिंदी and English. ठीक है, so this was all that I had to discuss about JLO. It is an exciting opportunity for people who are interested in being a part of exams, or you can say opportunities which are similar to judiciary. क्योंकि इसका syllabus तो अगर आप देखोगे तो ये literally almost पूरा ही same है आपके judicial preparations के साथ. And if you are preparing for judiciary, आप definitely इस exam को भी try कर सकते हो, हालांकि इसकी frequency कम होती है. ठीक है, the next one again on similar lines, APP or APO. The reason I have included both these names is because ये कुछ states में you call it APP, assistant public prosecutor, और APO, that is assistant prosecuting officer. So यूपी में अगर आप जाओगे तो वहां पर you know it by the name of यूपी APO, और MP साइड में अगर आप जाते हो तो वहां पर इसे APP बोला जाता है, right? Now this is an exciting area for people who are interested in criminal law, and ये एक ऐसा एग्जाम है जो हर स्टेट कंडक्ट करवाता है, right? Because every state needs a prosecuting officer. CRPC has made it mandatory. It has like literally defined the roles of a prosecuting officer, because of which having one becomes important, है ना? So अगर आपको सिर्फ criminal law में interest है, if you are not that interested with the civil laws, if you don't want to enter into civil litigation or anything, but you solely want to be invested in the criminal side, and you want a government job with regard to the same, then APP or APO, depending on the state you go for, is a very exciting opportunity. ठीक है, आपकी eligibility यहाँ पे तो as you can see यहाँ पे age limit as such कुछ नहीं दी हुई है. मेजर चीज जो यहाँ पे रिकॉग्नाइज्ड है वो ये है कि यू नीड अ लॉ डिग्री फ्रॉम एनी रिकॉग्नाइज्ड. सो ग्रेजुएशन तो लाइक इज अ मिनिमम क्राइटेरिया फॉर एवरी एग्जाम दैट यू वुड गो फॉर. एंड सिलेबस जैसा मैंने आपको कहा कि सिर्फ क्रिमिनल एरियाज को टेस्ट करेगा, राइट? सो आईपी, सारे आपके क्रिमिनल लॉज, आईपीसी, सीआरपीसी, एविडेंस, एंड जिस स्टेट का एग्जाम आप देना चाह रहे हो उस स्टेट की कंसर्न पुलिस और रेगुलेशन एक्ट. सो दिस इज ऑल दैट यू नीड टू नो विथ रिगार्ड टू द APO एग्जाम्स. एंड इफ यू हैव अ knack for the criminal side, if you have always been like fascinated with the idea of punishing criminals, APP or APO, as you might call it depending on the state, would be a very lucrative opportunity. ठीक है, moving on to the next one, JAG. JAG is short for Judge and Advocate General. ठीक है, now इसका सबसे आप बोल सकते हो फैसिनेटिंग चीज ही ये है कि ये कोई it does not conduct an exam per se, but again आपका selection would depend on a lot of exams. ठीक है, so this is the irony कि there is no particular syllabus as such, कोई written pen paper का exam नहीं है, but this would be testing you in a lot of dimensions. And we have conducted a webinar or two on this, जहाँ पे आप कैसे different selection criteria को meet कर सकते हो. So I'm not going into that much detail. The only thing that I would be going through here is कि जिससे कि आपको ये समझ में आ जाए कि आप इस पोस्ट के लिए जा सकते हो या नहीं. LLB degree is a must. Age limit is 21 to 27. Another major thing, you must not be married. Okay, so be it a man or a woman, you must be unmarried if you want to be eligible for this exam. Okay, so people who are married and are a part of this webinar, sorry guys, this is definitely not an opportunity for you. But जिन्हें एक्चुअली आर्मी में सर्व करने में इंटरेस्ट है एंड दे वांटेड टू डू समथिंग विद देयर डिग्री वहां पर एंड दे वर ऑलवेज फैसिनेटेड विद द आइडिया ऑफ बीइंग अ पार्ट ऑफ द आर्मी, जैग इज डेफिनेटली अ वेरी ल्यूक्रेटिव अपॉर्चुनिटी. ठीक है, एंड सी यहाँ पे भी मस्ट बी एलिजिबल फॉर बीइंग एनरोल्ड एज एन एडवोकेट विद द BCI. सो यहाँ पर भी दिस क्राइटेरिया बिकम्स इंपॉर्टेंट एंड दिस इज व्हाई यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि AIBE एग्जाम्स का रेलिवेंस कितना होता है. सो माय फर्स्ट सजेशन टू यू वुड बी कि बिफोर यू इवन थिंक ऑफ अपीयरिंग फॉर एन एग्जाम, you must and you definitely must get yourself enrolled as an advocate with the BCI. And उसके लिए आपको पहले एक state के साथ enroll होना पड़ेगा and only then would you be eligible to even sit for these exams. Now इसका selection process क्या है? I'm just going to skim through it. कि integrated headquarters of Ministry of Defense, they have the right to shortlist applications and they are not answerable to you. वो किसी भी reason से किसी application को reject कर सकते हैं and you can literally not question them here. ठीक है, once the applications are shortlisted, centers की allotment होंगी, that is the allotment would be intimated to the candidates by their email approx 2 to 3 weeks after the last day of application. ठीक है, now यहाँ पे candidates का जब application shortlist हो जाता है, so after this is done, they would be put through a 2-stage selection procedure. ठीक है, oh, this is obvious, stage 1 clear करके ही आप stage 2 पे जाओगे and people who fail in stage 1 would be asked to return on that very day, so you won't even be given time to like stay there, 1-2 दिन घूम लो and तब जाओ. नहीं, जिस दिन अगर आप select नहीं हुए तो जिस दिन आप like the day people who fail in stage 1 उसी दिन आपको वापस जाना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, and the duration of these interviews is around 5 days. ठीक है, so this is all that I had to discuss with regard to JAG exams. So यहाँ पे आपकी physical abilities भी test होंगी, आपकी mental abilities and communication skills, सब कुछ ही test होते हैं. So you can realize that even though there is no particular syllabus per se, but this exam tests you in a lot more areas than other exams actually do. है ना, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली बात है यार, अगर आप निकल जाए, अगर आप इसमें सिलेक्ट हो जाते हो तो आप आर्मी में सर्व करोगे. सो ऑब्वियस है कि उसके सिलेक्शन क्राइटेरिया थोड़े अलग होने ही है ना. सो with this, let's move on to the next opportunity that's there, NABARD Grade A legal officer. ठीक है, so NABARD is again another opportunity. अगर आप लोगों को बैंकिंग एग्जाम्स में इंटरेस्ट है, like a lot of people wish to go in the banking sector, तो वहां पर कई अपॉर्चुनिटीज ऐसे अराइज हो जाती हैं, राइट. सो NABARD इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ देम, जिसका एलिजिबिलिटी अगेन बैचलर्स डिग्री चाहिए फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ एनरोलमेंट एज एन एडवोकेट. यहाँ पर यू रिक्वायर मिनिमम ऑफ 50% मार्क्स या फिर LLM डिग्री विद मिनिमम ऑफ 45% मार्क्स. अगेन दिस इज डिफरेंट फॉर SC and ST and I'm not going into that much detail, but यहाँ पर अगर आप बैचलर डिग्री ले रहे हो तो you need a minimum of 50% to be eligible. अगर आप मास्टर्स डिग्री लियो तो a minimum of 45% to be eligible for this exam. ठीक है, no age limit as such is given here. ठीक है, so people of any age over here, if you are a graduate or if you have a master's degree, you can definitely think of appearing for this exam. ये सारे इस year के लिए these are over. हाँ, so if you wish to choose any one of these exams to appear for in future, be sure to check out the next dates that are up. इस साल के लिए ये सारे हो चुके हैं. सिलेबस क्या है? अगेन वही ऑब्वियसली बात है कि इफ यू गेट इनटू NABARD, यू नीड टू बी अवेयर ऑफ द बैंकिंग लॉज एंड रेगुलेशंस. सो बैंकिंग लॉज हो गया, ठीक है, नेगोशिएबल इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स हो गए, कंपनी, इंडस्ट्रियल एंड कोऑपरेटिव लॉज, आपके साइबर लॉज, बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द ट्रांजैक्शंस आर नाउ कंडक्टेड ऑनलाइन, है ना, कॉमर्स और प्रॉपर्टी ट्रांजैक्शंस, making TP an important part, rural non-life insurance, direct financing, staff matters, and good experience in drafting various types of documents. So NABARD, as you know, you need to be aware of the rural India per se, right? क्योंकि ये एग्जाम स्पेसिफिकली उसीलिए कंडक्ट किया जाता है कि रूरल एरियाज में जो बैंक्स और ये हैं वहां पे ऑफिसर्स अपॉइंट हो पाए. सो टू बी एलिजिबल फॉर दैट यू नीड टू नो रूरल इंडिया like thoroughly. So from that point in view, this area, rural non-life insurance, ठीक है, direct financing and ये सब becomes important for you to know. And again I would stress the syllabus here is only with regard to the legal part. आप ये मत सोचना कि बस इतना ही syllabus है, इसके सिवाय भी काफी areas test होती हैं. But like I had said, कि अगर here we are only going to be discussing the legal syllabus. And इसमें I understand you do not have a lot of overlapping content with judiciary, but if you wish to go into, you know, like if you want, if you have been interested in corporate laws, या आपको banking sector में जाने में interest है, and you wanted a government opportunity as well, then then this can be a lucrative offer for you guys. ठीक है? Moving on to the next one. SBI SO, ठीक है? So this is for the post of deputy manager in law. So again, this is also a banking opportunity. यहाँ की age limit आपकी is between 25 to 35 years, ठीक है? Law degree तो चाहिए, but यहाँ की age limit is 25 to 35. Now the reason they have given this age limit is because they require a PQE of around 4 years, जो आपका next में दिया हुआ है. पहले bar council के साथ enroll होना is very important. And then you need a minimum of 4 years of experience, either as a practicing advocate or as a law officer in the legal department of scheduled commercial banks. Yeah, 4 years ka combined experience as both. You are a practicing advocate and you have also, like you can say you have practiced for 2 years and then aap 2 saal ke liye you were, you know, appointed as a law officer in the legal department of scheduled commercial banks. So because they require a PQE of 4 years, that is why यहाँ पर age limit is between 25 and 35. आप SEBI में देख लो, SEBI में it's only 21 से 30 की age limit है. Why? Because they do not require any PQE. But because यहाँ पर 4 years की needed है, that is why the age limit here is from between 25 and 35. Syllabus again banking sector है, so banking laws तो आपको पता होना ही चाहिए. Banking regulated laws हो या banking security laws हो, negotiable instruments. Now this is something you would be noticing guys, जितने भी banking sector के exams है, चाहे वो RBI हो, चाहे वो SBI हो, IBPS भी it's there later on, ठीक है? NABARD जो हमने किया था, सब में negotiable instruments act would form a very important part, ठीक है? Then other parts would include ethics and corporate governance, especially with regard to what banking हो गया, financial analysis हो गया, banking operational laws, banker customer के relations कैसे होते हैं, electronic banking systems जो चल रहे हैं उसके लिए जो laws in place हैं, ठीक है, loans and advances, compliance and legal aspects banking sector को जो follow करने होते हैं, ठीक है, security types and regulatory frameworks etc. Now why is this area included here? Banks की compliance and legal requirements are a bit different from the other corporate giants or corporate organizations that are there. If you have studied GST or something, तो आप वहाँ देखोगे कि जो general time limit बाकी companies follow करते हैं या बाकी entities follow करते हैं, वो टाइम लिमिट बैंकिंग को फॉलो नहीं करनी होती. तो अगर बाकियों के लिए आप अगर बोल लो कि कोई भी चीज की कंप्लायंस की टाइम लिमिट 30 डेज है, सो द बैंक्स वुड बी गेटिंग अ टाइम लिमिट ऑफ अराउंड 45 डेज फॉर दैट. सो फ्रॉम दैट पॉइंट इन व्यू इनका कंप्लायंस प्रोसीजर ही अलग होता है, एंड दैट इज व्हाई इट बिकम्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू बी अवेयर ऑफ द सेम. ठीक है, सो दिस इज व्हाई दिस एरिया इज स्पेसिफिकली हाईलाइटेड फॉर योर प्रिपरेशन in order to be eligible to clear the exam of this SBI SO Deputy Manager in Law. ठीक है. Now, this is the one that I was discussing just a while back. IBPS SO Law Officer. IBPS again basically वही exam है जो बाकी आप बोल सकते हो public sector banks के लिए, public sector banks में appointment के लिए you need to be, you need to clear this exam. So इसकी eligibility आप देख लो, age limit is 20 to 30 years. ठीक है, bachelor's degree चाहिए, and again the license of being an advocate, the license to practice anywhere in India is important. ठीक है, so you can actually see the first thing that you should do the moment you graduate is get yourself enrolled as an advocate. Syllabus again इसका वही जाएगा. You have banking regulations, compliance and legal aspects, ठीक है, relevant law and orders जो negotiable instruments से related है, foreign exchange यहाँ पे आ जाएगा, FEMA regulations, ठीक है, prevention of money laundering, limitation act, consumer protection, ठीक है, 𝗙𝗪𝗔 act, banking ombudsman scheme, ठीक है, and laws and actions that have a direct link to the banking sector, Bankers Book Evidence Act, DRT, that is Debt Recovery Tribunal Act, etc. ठीक है, so ये सारे ही exams which you can see with regard to the बैंकिंग सेक्टर, इन सबका सिलेबस इज ओवरलैपिंग, ठीक है। तो अगर यू वांट लाइक अगर आप जुडिशरी के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो बट यू वांटेड टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट द बैंकिंग सेक्टर, तो यू कैन थिंक ऑफ अपियरिंग फॉर ऑल दीज एग्जाम्स, क्योंकि इन सबका सिलेबस मोर और लेस सेम ही है। तो अगर आप एक के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो देन व्हाट इज द हार्म इन अपियरिंग फॉर द अदर 3 एज वेल, राइट? सो these were the 12 opportunities that I wanted to discuss today. Again, a major thing, this is not an exhaustive list. You have a lot of other opportunities that are available. To name a few would be, जैसे एक है PF RDA एग्जाम, ठीक है, जो आपके प्रोविडेंट फंड रेगुलेशंस के प्रोविडेंट फंड में you would be appointed as a law officer. तो ये सारे, and there are quite a few other exams. SSC में भी आप eligible हो सकते हो. So ये वाले तो जो exams थे, यहाँ पे आपकी specialization, that is as a lawyer would come into picture. आप general stream से भी कई जगह exams दे सकते हो, right? So don't ever think that यही एक exhaustive list है, इसके सिवाय और options नहीं है. There are a lot of other options that are left to be explored. And if you still want to have more insights on this, like I said, I have just given an introductory idea कि आपको पता चल जाए कि आप एक exam के लिए eligible हो या नहीं. But अगर आप you still want more insights, you want help in formulating the right strategies, then attending the workshop that Anu here had discussed would definitely be a right option, right? So with this, we would be open to questions now. Thank you so much for listening to me, everyone.
Right. Jyoti, it was an interesting session, and you have, of course, removed many of the nuances which attendees had. So let's. The session is open for Q&A. Now the attendees may ask your question, but some of the questions we have. So I'm just quickly taking some of the questions from our Q&A. So Pritesh Raj is asking this question, that what are the ranks or positions to which individuals might rise in each of their jobs individually?
Okay, so see, again, Pritesh, first of all, this is something that is peculiar to the exam or to the opportunity that you would be appearing for, ठीक है? तो सारे organizations का अपना अलग hierarchy होता है and उनके अपने अपने promotion criteria होते हैं. If you wish to have some insights, आप वो SEBI वाला webinar देख सकते हो, जिसमें I have discussed the way in which you can rise up in the organization. That has also been discussed in the RBI exam, but you do not have a fixed guideline for all these exams per se. सबके अपने अपने criteria, हर organization में promotion का criteria अलग होता है. Okay, some require you to be in training for say just 6 months. Some would require you to be in probation for say 2 years. So it depends. ठीक है, इसका कोई fixed criteria is something that I cannot give.
Right. Understood. Thanks, Jyoti. Another question we are taking from Tamanna Sahir, and the participant is asking, like, is previous work experience required to get job in PSU through CLAT LLM?
Yes, see, so basically, like I had said, आप LLM देने के पहले भी, before you even think of going for masters, get yourself enrolled as an advocate. So आप, if you are wishing to get into PSUs, they require a minimum of 2 to 5 years of professional experience in the field of law. ठीक है? So that is the minimum thing that's needed. उसके बाद what they look for is your this is definitely a bonus. ठीक है? And then they would be looking at your CLAT LLM का score, which would be a major criteria in determining your selection over here. ONGC में they need 3 years, but generally the range is from 2 to 5 years in every PSU that takes you on the basis of your CLAT LLM scores.
Right. Yes, we have one participant, Pritesh, and he wants to ask question directly. So I'm just unmuting him.
Okay.
Please unmute yourself, and you can ask question directly to our speaker. If you can hear me, Pritesh, Raj, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hi Pritesh.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. So my question was that when it comes to ONGC legal officer, will the individual have to just have a rank in CLAT LLM? As in, will that be enough, or will he have to give some other sort of qualification tool, some sort of examination, separate examination for ONGC?
Separate examination. See, this like I said, जैसे CLAT LLM हो गया, ठीक है? So the scores that you would be achieving in this exam would be helping you in would be a bonus point so far as your selection in any PSU is concerned, ठीक है? But when it comes to your this one PQE, तो that would act as an added bonus, ठीक है? जैसे कि you can say कि when you are in college, when you are interning, तो आप अगर third या fourth year में आके आप your chances of getting selected at a place is higher if you have done more internships. Why? Because your experience has increased. So that's the same so far as CLAT PG या your selection in PSU is concerned. तो say कि you have achieved a decent score, आपका रैंक अच्छा था, बट द नेक्स्ट थिंग दैट दे वुड लुक एट इज योर एक्सपीरियंस, कि आपने वंस यू ग्रेजुएटेड एंड वंस यू डिड योर मास्टर्स, उसके बीच में या उसके बाद में व्हाट वाज योर पोस्ट क्वालिफिकेशन एक्सपीरियंस, आपने कहाँ प्रैक्टिस किया है या आप किस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ अटैच थे. दैट वुड बी अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर इन डिटरमाइनिंग द सिलेक्शन ओवर देयर. सो आई होप दैट आंसर्स योर क्वेश्चन. He has muted himself again, Anu, I guess.
Yes. Pritesh, I hope you have got your answer.
Yes, she did. Yeah, she did answer my question. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, we have another question from Adil Khan, and the participant is asking, like, without CLAT PG, can he apply for PSUs?
See, as far as I know, PSUs actually demand your CLAT PG score. So I would need to research a bit on this to see if if you can apply directly without any CLAT PG score. But so far as I know, they have this criteria that they need your CLAT 11 score to determine whether you would be selected or not.
So, okay. Okay, some participants are asking for PPT. So, of course, this session is live on the YouTube. So, there you can see the PPT and the whole information, whosoever missed the session. And I guess I have taken all the relevant questions. If anybody is having any other questions, so they can ask.
And Anu, if they want the PPT, I can share it with you, and that can be shared like either as either on the YouTube as or on the groups.
Right,
I'll
right.
share it with you.
Okay. So whosoever wants the PPT, so we'll share on our channel. So okay.
Okay.
And any other question, we'll be waiting for 5 to 6 seconds. अगर किसी के पास कोई questions हो regarding today's session, so they can ask. And please, participants, provide your fruitful feedback to us on the scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. Please share your feedback with us, that how you find this particular webinar, and if any other topic you want us to discuss on, you can also share that. Okay, Jyoti, if you wanted to add something to this webinar regarding the workshop or anything, then we'll sign off.
Yes, the same thing that I have reiterated time and again, that मैंने आपके साथ सिर्फ एक बेसिक आइडिया शेयर किया है. आपको डिटेल्स अगर कुछ एग्जाम्स की चाहिए तो we have already conducted individual exam webinars on the same. You can have a look at that to get more to get an idea about the pattern as well, कि क्या क्या syllabus में आता है and how you need to prepare for the same. And I hope that this session was fruitful for you all. If you want more insights, if judiciary is your primary aim and this is just these are just other options that you wanted to look for, you can definitely be a part of the workshop that would be conducted on 14th, because अगर आप उन लोगों में से हो जिन्हें who need the right guidance, because this is the major thing with regard to any competitive exam. Okay? Right guidance can either determine your selection or it can be the reason for your downfall. Guidance is that important. So from that point in view, attending that workshop can definitely be a bonus. And thank you so much, guys, for being a part of this webinar today. That's all.
Okay. Yes, I have one question from YouTube, Jyoti. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so we have one participant, Rohan Sawant. So he's asking, like, he's currently in LLB third year, and so he wanted to ask regarding the judiciary examination. Rohan, could you please rephrase your question once again? Okay, those who are asking for JAG examination, Jyoti has comprehensively told us about the JAG eligibility and its perks and opportunities. So जिन्होंने नहीं देखा है वो YouTube पे जाकर एक बार और देख सकते हैं.
And उस पे इंडिविजुअल वेबिनार्स भी कंडक्ट हुए थे, तो अगर आपको और आइडिया चाहिए कि आप कैसे सिलेक्शन क्राइटेरिया मीट कर सकते हो तो यू कैन डेफिनेटली वॉच देम.
Right. Also, Asif is asking regarding the recording. So YouTube पे ये live रहेगा. So also we'll share the PPTs as Jyoti said. So we'll circulate these PPTs on our channels. जो channels हमारे active हैं, there we'll share our PPTs accordingly. So I guess YouTube पे भी I have taken all the relevant questions and. Okay, participants, I have shared the link with you all regarding our judiciary workshop. So, जो भी interested हो, they can join or enroll themselves. And there is and जिसको भी payment link या फिर payment link whosoever is required, so that also I can share. And that WhatsApp group का भी link I have shared with you all. So please join. अगर judiciary से related, if you have queries and different thing if you wanted to. Okay, we are getting one question regarding
the drafting skills, I suppose.
Yes.
So see, for drafting also, we do have a course on judgment writing and drafting, which would basically be the same. ठीक है? अगर if you are preparing for judiciary, so you would be getting an idea with regard to both कि कैसे judgment लिखना चाहिए and what are the other drafting skills that you need to focus on. So I would suggest that you can definitely, have a look at the course altogether and see if it meets your needs, right?
Right. So yeah, Jyoti, it was a wonderful session, and as we all presume that many of us are aware of certain government jobs apart from judiciary, but today you brought everything all together, and our participant would get a lot from this, and even I got to know a lot. So thank you, Jyoti, for such a wonderful and informative webinar where you discussed everything very comprehensively. So thanks again, and thanks participants for joining our today's session, and keep joining our another sessions, where we provide certain, informative information. So now we'll sign off, and thank you, Jyoti, again.
Thank you, Anu. Thank you, everyone. Bye.